All victims of the crash are believed to be two members, Dana Praba's staff, Ara and Kevon Opare, charts that will confirm that Chairman Vichai was among those who have tragically lost their life when a helicopter carrying people crashed outside King. None of the five people on board survived. Lots of everyone at the club are with the street data and the families of all those on board at this time of unspeakable loss.
Uh, I mean, there's not a whole lot that you can say in a situation such as this. Death is always, it's always a huge blow, and for those who saw images of it was a huge fireball, and to be honest, I would have been ball, and to be honest, I would have been if there had been, it would have been a celebrated miracle.
Yes.
If we'd had any survivors from the crash. And for those who follow the reports, the players were still in and around the vicinity. I understand Kasper Schmeichel was one of the first to try to rush to the scene. What could be done, but in a country such as that, because of health and safety concerns and probably the sheer heat emanating from that location, it would not have been wise to let him get any closer to it. I think it's sad for the immediate family of the billionaire. It's sad for the club, considering how much he has done since he bought the club. I think around about 2010, and the amount of investment he put through to get the club through to the Premiership, and then having that celebrated win. I think it was 2015, 2016 season, and he does not appear to have he had not lost his appetite for investing in the club. Is lost because it's quite an impactful loss for both the family and the family that is Leicester Football Club.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you very much for that, Breezes. Well, we move on from that to slightly world champion, the fifth time to cement his place among the sport's all-time legends. Hamilton wrapped up the 2018 crown with fourth place at the Mexican Grand Prix. Now, Hamilton is just the third driver in history to win five El Fanigo, the 1950s great, and Michael Schumacher. Now, and career as Schumacher when the German great clinched his fifth crown in 2002.
So look,
Wow.
let's be clear.
Wow.
Lewis Hamilton had the trifecta this season of ingredients that have guaranteed immense landmark of a fifth title. The first is that he's had an amazing car.
Remember last year? Last year was rough.
And for someone to be issues with your vehicle,
Yes.
he's driven failings, both techniques from the strategic part and then from the driver's side in Vettel that have just come together and been successful.
Yes.
Make no mistake, I'm not trying to say that he was successful because of
Other people
Vettel's failure.
to work well.
Vettel, between Vettel, even try to
Let's
God,
not get too far.
good. I don't finish on, but I mean, this is about Grand Prix. Was the fact that Sebastian Vettel congratulated him and went up to him and said to him, "You need to be at your best next year
Yeah.
when I'm fighting you for
That's good to see.
And that's 40, it's greatest sportsman in the world and all that. It's nice for the sport. And I'm also quite excited about next season because they've got a whole new improve overtaking and things like that. Because I mean, apart from the first corner and things like that, so if you're able to make it an integral part, yeah, yeah. So if you're making it the let's hope that in the next season that we have, there will be less mistakes from Ferrari, make it more competitive, more competitive all last season for them as well.
Yes.
So it's for them to make that progress from Mexico beyond. I think another good thing to make it that they have a competitive vehicle all season long, and that will then make for a more exciting.
About WTA.
Simply put, this is a product of hard work, and when somebody really wants it and they push hard. Credit to her, credit to Sloane Stevens, as hard as she joins a very special group with Serena, who last went through this in 2013. So that in itself is, being in and being the first to do that. So I mean, the lot go commendable for her, and hopefully it will make the step into the new season, and just not in this tournament, but to make sure that she's consistent all through the season. It's really about consistency. That is what earns you legendary status in any sport. And tennis is no exception.
Thank you very much for that, Brutalistics. It is time for us to take a break. When we come back, we'll take more of the sports stories and, of course, go into your messages. So keep them coming in to 0809 444 0981 and tweet at us with the hashtag LockerRoom981.
So the batteries aren't working.
Remember, you're combining all your
adds things.
Lagos to me is a hustler's town.
skip the time marker.
There's nothing that can't be achieved.
That's fine.
You can't be lazy in this town.
Is it working?
So, Lagos,
Check if the light is on there.
No, the light is on. This one, the light was on. The issue is your keyboard setup now. So sort out your keyboard. This will come in eventually. Or it should. Yeah.
It's working now.
there are apps for everything these days. There's one that measures how
See the
far
light
you
there.
can throw your phone.
Just press it
One
once
that
and
links to burn many countries with phone vibrations. And one that allows you for virtual pimples, if you're into that sort of thing. But I'm not here to talk about those apps. I'm here to talk about a platform that does everything your bank does and more. It helps you save money to your loved ones and make cardless withdrawals so you're never stranded. You can even use it to pay for your favorite movies, events, and also limit your spending so you never run out of money.
Introducing the new Sterling One Pay, your personal mobile and internet banking solution from Sterling Bank. With Sterling One Pay, you can schedule your payments, choose things that reflect you, and even hide your balance with the panic pin. It's a platform that's got your back. Download Sterling One Pay from the Google or Apple App Stores today.
What is it saying? It's just looking for it. This is even how to restart the computer. Just switch it off.
You're good to go.
Oh, cool, sweet.
So I'll send you his number.
Thank you very much. Dope. I'll get the stories today and get them across.
LG all-new Gen Cool air conditioner is energy saving and cost effective with a 10-year warranty on its compressor. Switch to its Gen mode function with small generator capacity to enjoy a constant cooling experience. LG, life's good. Calling all brothers. Sit down and brothers. It's another ARM Pensions run for the future. The date is Saturday, the 24th of November, 2018, and it's happening at number 1 Network Road, Ikoyi, Lagos. Now look of fun for everyone. Register for free at www.armpensions.com.
Maybe today is a miracle Monday.
The run for the future is refreshed by Nestle Pure Life and supported by
I will be paid today. I'll be quite surprised.
Where do duck chickens come from? From hard-boiled eggs, Mommy. That's my point. Did you know that 90% of brain growth occurs in the first 5 years of a child's life? Pick 456 grown-up milk, specially formulated with DHA for children 4 to 6 years old to help them grow up strong and smart. Yay! It's Jumia's Black Friday. Every Friday from November 2nd to November 30th.
Can't get past this
Best
November
deals on
thing.
all categories, including
That's every time I hear this ad, I can't get past the November.
80% discount. Download the app to access over 4 million deals, 500,000 free vouchers, 99% 100 flash sales, and extra deals on Fridays. With prices like these, our sales daily supply. Jumia. Save money, shop easy. In partnership with HP, Intel, Samsung, and Benatar.
It's alright. It's a load. Don't worry. Don't stress yourself.
Nigeria,
It's already there.
those who divide our people are getting better at their game.
Yeah.
We must continue to push our limit and stop. How we don't mature. Our prayers will be answered. You go get her. That house, that you go build her. That girl, marry her. These children, they will grow and prosper. And this business, it not go spoil for your hand. Because Union Bank understands what it means to push through challenge. And together,
What?
This is awkward.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry. Just as well.
Mics are up, studio. Thank you so much for being there. You're listening to Smooth 98.1, and we're talking sports inside the locker room, and we have Brutalistics giving us a wonderful analysis this Monday morning.
Yes, indeed. We've also got your messages, so we'll start going into them before we return to the sports stories for this morning. Big T first in to say the King at King Power Stadium is gone. Rest in peace. And then he comes back to comment on Hamilton. He says, Hamilton wins. I'm not surprised. He got his training at Tushudi. If you can drive there, you can drive anywhere. Wow, Big T, we see you out there. Some more messages coming in on congrats to Hamilton. This one is in from Chima Beat Victor from Alaba, who says, Hamilton, congrats to Hamilton for his victory. Though I was thinking Sebastian Vettel would have given him a run for his money, I know that my man Vettel will surely bounce back. But he also has a few words of condolences for Leicester City.
Yes, and he says last weekend was marred with the news of the death of the Leicester City owner. Will the football lovers and the entire Smooth fans, most especially the locker room, commensurate with their friends and families? Yes, we will, and we have. May God give them the fortitude to bear the loss. Thank you, Chimobi Victor.
Indeed. Tony from Coca says just one for us to make it 100th trophy. Some get older while some get younger. Roger is the man. Roger is now the S9 unit of tennis.
Just a quick
Right.
one
Yes.
for those who wish to express their commiserations with the Leicester City family. I understand at some point if you really want to be part of that, you can on the Leicester City website and just check if that condolence register has been open,
Okay.
and put in your thoughts on there as well.
Thank you very much for that, Brutalistic. So, Jude Van P, you can express your condolences about the sad event in Leicester on Saturday up on their website if the register is up right now. But we'll also take your comment about congrats to Lewis Hamilton for winning his 5th world title. Let him keep pushing so he can surpass Schumacher's record. Aww. Very cute, very cute. To our next sports story, shall we? So, big serving South African finals by beating Japan's Kiel Okai Nishikori 6-3, 7-6, 7-3 to win the Vienna Open on Sunday. The world number 8 sent down 13 aces and 36 winners, winning 91% of his first serve points as he wrapped up victory in just under 2 hours. The 32-year-old is the first South African in 23 years and follows the footsteps of compatriot Wayne Ferreira, who achieved the feat in 19. Nadal, Novak Djokovic, Juan Martín del Potro, Roger Federer, and Alexander Zverev in the sealing run from November 11th till the Arena in London. Now his head of
this Croat who's Ivan Nisimovic, so he just, I mean, he had like a powerful serves, you know, and that just kind of like you serve ace, game over, you know, and then when if you're that type of player who's largely dependent on your serve, to get serve gets found out, or you get someone like Nishikori who's pretty tenacious in his return. I mean, it's a big deal that he's been able to get past him, who's like brilliant at returns and has so many other assets in his locker. In this final remains to be seen, but it's not a minor achievement. When you know him from like young tennis great, it's a great thing to be mentioned in such circles for him. And he's actually done well for him. Been in one, he's been in the final. What was it, the which one was it? I think it was the one in the US Open or one of these other ones. He got that far, which is quite commendable for a guy who's largely dependent.
He played Latin mid-season. He led to the NBA final season, and when he came back from the 3-1 down, beat the Golden State season. The coach had won the title to the finals more in 2 seasons, but lost out to the Warriors on both occasions. Is that why they fired him?
No, but it's probably because he's Liu, and he might have close links to Lopetegui and Real Madrid. They both have like really bad luck at the moment. But look, he's kind of youngish in the game, so these sort of like experiences will probably make him a better coach in future. Is it something that you want in terms of your career? Nobody ever wants to get fired from his job, but it's the nature of sports. You're judged by results, you're judged by performances, and six losses in any sport, but more importantly in the NBA, it's turned that around. And in terms of confidence and what that does to the locker room in itself, it's not always a good thing. So those in the back office, or is it back office or front office, they've decided to like just giving it to them. He's out the door.
Ooh, out the door. No time to waste time, as they say. A few more messages have come in. I'm gonna take this one. That is in from Austin sent in this message. Austin from Lagos Island. Lengthy one. He says, after seeing what transpired in the El Clasico yesterday, I apology from the following institution. First, FIFA for defrauding the football faithfuls all over the globe and denying Cristiano Ronaldo a crown he truly deserved. Steal El Clasico victory that further damages their bit-stricken manager, Julien Lopetegui. So the former boss now seems certain to lose his job in the wake of a humiliating defeat in a survival. You see, his side conjured something of a revival in the second half, but ultimately they were sunk by an irresistible Barca performance, and it appears only a question of when he will be fired, not if. Felipe Coutinho slotted in, and Suarez converted a penalty awarded by a video assistant referee decision for Rafael Varane's foul on Uruguayan for Barca's halftime advantage, and Marseille managed to give Real hope, but Suarez' header finished, followed by Arturo Vidal's header, completed the rout. The visitors had begun the day within 4 points of Barca, but now they trail them by 7 and find themselves 9-10 matches. Ernesto Valverde's side, titles from the past 10, are top of Atletico Madrid by 2 points. I think I see why Austin was upset.
A couple of violation, pulverized, whitewash, massacre, evisceration. Look, that's not expected. I mean, it was the first El Clasico without Leon and Cristiano Ronaldo. It is the El Clasico, Real Madrid versus Barcelona. You would have expected that the Madrid players, whatever their form prior to this, would raise their game. And I guess to an extent, when the scoreline was about 2-1 and Lopetegui made a couple of tactical switches to 3 at the back, they had chances. But the lack of clinical finishing made the difference between them making it a at 2-1 and then spiraling into this embarrassment had with the goal routes we saw the benefits or the problem with videos giving that penalty, which I thought was a penalty anyway, regardless of the thing. So it was a good call, good goals, and all the goals that Barcelona scored they were just amazing. In my opinion, nice for Luis Suarez to have a hat trick without having to bite anyone's ear off.
It's useful.
And we've seen a couple of games now from Barcelona where they have played relatively well without Lionel Messi.
Yes.
That's not to say that they can start talking about life without Messi. It's a little bit too soon, but it's nice for them to be able to show that they can function well. It was a good performance, not Galactico-esque performance in terms of Barcelona's route, but I mean the scoreline is reflective of the problems that Real Madrid have been facing under Lopetegui. I'm amazed that he hasn't been sacked. There had been rumors to say that he was to be sacked right after the Champions League game that they won, and people would advise the president to be patient. After this result, I'm not sure that he could be any more patient.
Interesting.
Okay.
So patience running very thin. We'll move on to talk about Burnley and Chelsea. So Ross Barkley's performance in inspiring Chelsea to a comfortable victory at Burnley is evidence that he's a complete player, says head coach Maurizio Sarri. The England midfielder scored one goal and set up two more as Sarri's unbeaten side moved second in the Premier League. Barkley set up the visitors' 22nd minute opener, sliding a wonderful through ball for Alvaro Morata to poke past Burnley keeper Joe Hart. He then scored himself, sending a 25-yard shot into the bottom corner of Hart's net just before the hour mark. 5 minutes later, he registered the second assist of the match as he set up Willian to cut in on to his right foot and curl a shot past Hart into the same corner. Now, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, who scored a midweek hat-trick in the Europa League, added a 4 in Chelsea from Everton for £15 million in January, but barely featured on Antonio Conte, playing just 4 games.
Okay, so I know we're talking about Chelsea, but can I just pause and digress slightly and say that, damn, the future looks bright. Is an immensely, I mean, there was no questioning his potential while he was in Everton.
I feel like he just reacted. So I don't know why. I just get that sense.
Probably just sneezed twice already.
No, but you can compliment the last time I saw with the technical ability that he has one time at some point in time in his career, but he's got everything in his locker. The touch in terms of having that avenue outlet within that midfield, it's something that they've lacked. Do you tend to worry about that with a lot of English players who are prodigious talents? Is temperament, whether he keep his cool in international competition. But he delivered an accomplished performance for someone who's supposedly 24, 22, 24. He's young, but he played with such maturity in midfield. The deftness of touch, the timing of his passes, the shots from outside the goal. All of these things, so long as he can keep his head to the ground and work hard, he can make a name in that midfield. He has the fortune of playing under Sarri, who he hope it doesn't come to an end.
Thank you very much. Unfortunately, this good thing called the locker room has come to an end. For next final hour of Smooth Breakfast, you Lagos get to talk inside of Lagos Talk. Number to call is
48